Welcome to 1 Million Cups, everybody. We got my mic. We got a mic. Everybody can hear me? Sweet. Okay, I am Kate. I'm going to be your MC this morning. We have a whole bunch of stuff to get to, so we're going to get cruising. First of all, I want to thank our tech booth crew. You know them. They're up there. They wear pants in the winter because the heat is just nice enough up there. Summer, you don't want to go up there. So they do a fantastic job for us. Happy Groundhog Day. If you guys have been, this probably feels familiar to you, right? Every Wednesday, things are happening. Hopefully, a short winter. And RIP, one of the groundhogs didn't make it. I don't know what that means for 2022. So, special thanks to all of our sponsors and supporters that put this on. If you're from one of these groups, you want to raise your hand so we can just give you a big fat kiss. All right, thank them, everybody. They help us get the coffee, rent the space. They're fantastic. A lot of them on organizer committee, so we can't thank them enough. If you're interested, find one of us. We can get you hooked up. What is 1 Million Cups? Do we have anybody who's here for the first time? Raise your hand. Oh, Dell. Nice. We got a few. Okay. Well, what is 1 Million Cups? That guy did my home inspection. Fantastic job. Okay. I'm going to have a lot of work to do. It was a long, oh man, that's not good kind of thing. But so what is 1 Million Cups? We meet here every Wednesday. It's a free weekly opportunity to connect with either entrepreneurs, community builders, folks that are doing things in the community. Then we get to ask them a whole bunch of questions. As always, personal questions. You can ask Sean anything you want. PIN number, Jackie, you can tell us whatever you want about Sean. This is a safe space. So. Can we change the face of our startup community by connecting here every Wednesday, having coffee, and really supporting our entrepreneurs? If you have questions or if you're watching online, welcome. Use the hashtag 1MCND, or you can ask your question sort of in the live video chat, and someone here will ask it for you. Community announcements. Johnny, you want to do yours about the cups?
Okay, so I think I chatted with almost everybody, but if you're new to 1MC, we have a mug club. It's a loyalty program. We've got those orange mugs. I think a lot of you are carrying them today. Let's see, loud and proud. Woohoo! Look at that. Yes. So Mug Club is free to join. We just set you up with one of those mugs, and every time you come, we put a little mug-shaped sticker on there, and then you get enough, you get some cool swag. And I won't make an announcement every time, but today is really a huge milestone for our Mug Club. We're giving away our first two beanies. Yeah. And that means people came 10 times remembering their mug and getting the sticker. And so the first person to ever earn their beanie is Kayla.
My hair's wet. I'm sorry. I washed my hair, not my mug.
All hail Queen Kayla. And our second person, who I kind of sort of had to twist his arm to let me crown him, but earned his about 10 minutes later. He walked in the door with his mug. Is Mark. Mark, come on down.
Oh, thanks, Janya, for doing the Mug Club stickers. You can still find her in the back if you don't have a mug or if you don't have your sticker. She'll be able to get that for you. Thanks, Janya, for doing that. Awesome. We've got a few other community announcements. Dawn, I believe this is yours.
I'm on the board of Capital Shakespeare, and we have our winter show coming up February 10th through the 12th. You can see Friday and Saturday. The shows are at 7 p.m. Sunday, there's a matinee at 2 p.m. All of them will be at the Russell Reed Auditorium at the Heritage Center. It's free. Goodwill offerings are always appreciated, but it's free, and it should be very good this year. Once again, if anybody is excited about participating or volunteering some time to do some ushering or backstage assisting, they still need a little bit of help. So find me after 1 Million Cups.
Oh, okay. We'll go through it. Jackie had an announcement, but I guess not. You can see it. It's kind of being announced right here. Okay. There we go. There's the brain walk and a book event. Did I do it? Okay, great. Okay.
Thanks, Kate. Yeah, RIP to Milltown Mel, who was Punxsutawney Phil's New Jersey cousin. He's the one who passed away, so it's a moment of silence for that groundhog. Anyway, my name is Lake Anani. I'm program director at the North Dakota Women's Business Center, and I just want to tell you about our Q&A we have going on tomorrow for our Women's Leadership Program. You can find that link on our website, but applications are open for that 6-month leadership program until March 1st. This is for anybody who's looking for, not anybody, this is for any woman who is looking to take the next step in her leadership journey, whether it's personally or professionally. So we are here to help you. There are a few, at least I think 3 or 4 alumni in the audience today, so you can catch me afterwards or any of them to visit about the opportunities there. So cool, thanks.
So we've got a special, Jason, I want to bring you up on stage. We've got a special extended community announcement. It only comes around once every 150 years. If you've been in this community long enough, you recognize Jason Tomanek as a skater punk kid. If you're new, he's the assistant city administrator for the city of Bismarck. Jason, take it away.
Thank you, Kate. Good morning, everybody. Let's see here.
I'll hold one.
That's right. Okay, so this is 50 years old, but this was one of the items that was created in 1972 to celebrate then the city's centennial. We are now up to the sesquicentennial, and so what I'd like to share with everybody here today is, number one, we got to talk about this. I'm guessing most of you didn't realize that Bismarck's having an anniversary this year. The mayor, the mayor proclaimed 2022 as the reason to celebrate the sesquicentennial, and so what we're trying to do is encourage local businesses, organizations, individuals, whatever the case may be, to find a way to help celebrate the sesquicentennial. And so we've held a couple of community stakeholder meetings. We just had one yesterday at the Bismarck Event Center, and the city has taken the lead in providing some resources. We've got the logo that was developed. We've got a web page where you can come and download that material. Really, the intent is for everybody to grab that logo that was on the previous slide, and if your organizations are interested in helping support this, put the logo on something. Put it on a pint glass, put it on a t-shirt, put it on swag that you're willing to give to your customers, your employees, whatever the case may be, to help recognize this important event. From the city's perspective, that's some of the stuff that's in my office. So I've got a little micro museum. I've got a collection of all sorts of Bismarck history things, and these were things that were created in 1972. There's a little trade token. I don't know if you can really tell what it is, but on the far right corner, there's a 1972 penny inside a glass bottle. That with the 1972 logo right here on the front of the bottle. That was created by one of the local banks and given out to customers. And it wasn't, it wasn't anything other than just community spirit. It's an actual 1972 penny. I don't know how, it's magic. It's in the sealed bottle. It's awesome. The trade token, there were books produced. The gray book on the lower left is the first 100 years. We'd love to see, there's a group of historians that are working on a story timeline and trying to tell the entire history of Bismarck over the last 150 years. So we're trying to find ways to help them get that message out and create events where other people can experience the history and just help celebrate Bismarck's 150th. May 13th is Band Night Parade. That's the unofficial kickoff for the celebration of events. Our event center manager, Charlie Jeske, is working on one of those key signature events, likely a 3-day opportunity at the event center, a bunch of community activities. Perhaps the history stuff will be on display. Other organizations like the Larks, they're going to have special jerseys printed for a 4-game homestand. I'm not going to tell you what's going to be on these jerseys. Kate's been working with some of the brewers to see if we can come up with a sesquicentennial cider, anniversary ale, whatever you want to call it. I don't care. The point is to get this logo onto things, to get people excited about this, and just to find ways to celebrate Bismarck's 150 years. We're talking about a summer's worth of events. Like I mentioned, May 13th, Band Night Parade, and then all the way through Street Fair and potentially into, I think Powwow predates the Street Fair by a week. So my message to you is if you're interested in this, I'll be around afterwards. We'd love to have you find ways to help celebrate. If you're a fan of city commission meetings on the second and fourth Tuesday of every month, we're going to be in front of the commission, not this Tuesday, but at the end of the month, and get them to formally commit to something. That was part of the big question yesterday, is what's the city going to do financially? How's the city going to help support these things? We're going to get the commissioners to talk about that and see what they're willing to do. So no promises there, but we can promise fun. We can promise a parade. Fine. Kate's got the booze, so you know what we didn't think about was a coffee roast or something like that. Maybe that would have been appropriate. So, okay. So if you have questions, please let me know. If you want to know more, you can go to the city's website. It's just a short little bismarcknd.gov/bismarck150, and that's where you'll find the branding page. You can download the logo. You can put it on stickers. You can get a neck tattoo. I don't care. Just find a way to do something with it. So that's all I got. Thank you, everybody.
Jason has threatened to do a one-man parade if nobody helps him, and so it would be sad, but I think people would show up for that. So we're going to get into our main presenters, Sean and Jackie, and believe it or not, I didn't always work at the Downtowners. I worked elsewhere, and that's where I met Sean, and then promptly quit and tried to get away from him as fast as possible. But so I want to introduce them, and how did that get in there? Oh my gosh, okay. Wow. Well, that pretty much says it all, I want to say, Sean. Okay, all right. Okay, well, we'll just go past that. That's not a part of today's presentation, but later. Want to introduce Sean and Jackie. Known them for a long time, and they had a weird life event that sort of changed the course of their life that they're going to tell you about. So I want you to help me welcome them to the stage, Sean and Jackie.
I'll let you go first.
Okay. Well, good morning, ladies, gentlemen, folks, and Brian Ritter. Welcome to 1 Million Cups. Thank you so much for being here today. We are going to talk about specifically our podcast, which kind of falls under the business I created, JM Stebbins. But the brains of the podcast is this one. So, can you stand over there? Thank you.
I'm the eye candy of this presentation today.
He'll start moonwalking later. Don't say I didn't warn you.
It's kind of sticky up here. I don't know if I can.
So JM Stebbins LLC is the business I created, not out of fun, not out of desire, but kind of out of, oh my gosh, my life erupted. We'll call it necessity. So what is JM Stebbins? This is something I founded in October of 2019. And the sole mission, maybe it's odd for a business, but I'm odd, so it works, is to spread awareness about autoimmune encephalitis and to provide hope and inspiration for all of those who hear Jackie's story. What is autoimmune encephalitis? We'll get there, but I promise you, you never want to know. So we'll leave it at that for a while, but it is a rare brain illness that I am in remission from. So JM Stebbins is in the business of speaking and writing to share awareness about AE, to give hope to those affected, and to have some fun along the way. We are having fun, aren't we? Great. So the team, it's huge. We are a massive corporation. It's me, Sean, my lovely husband, and my bestie, Lacey, who is in the audience. That is her. All of the art, all of the graphic design is Lacey. All things that are hard, Sean, I just show up and chat a lot. So a lot of other people, though, who have supported me so much. The shirt store, Ashley, my friend Becky is here. She read my book long ago when it wasn't very good. So many of you have supported, and you play a part in JM Stebbins. So what the heck is AE? You're just better off if you don't know, but I guess it's better if more people know because it's a very rare diagnosis. I was very lucky. A neurologist and nurse practitioner in this wonderful community saved my life when they recognized it early and that I didn't suffer either death or permanent brain damage. So significant diagnosis, the spectrum of brain illnesses, malfunction of the immune system, like, oh my gosh, what is that? Easy version is my immune system, for whatever reason, just ramped up and attacked my brain. Very prolonged, no idea what was going on, took a long time, and by the time I was in rapid onset, I was in cognitive failure. So it's a silent attacker. You can read all about it. This is awful, like psychosis, severe anxiety, your vision, your balance, involuntarily movements, hallucination, paranoia, cognitive impairments. And the grand finale for me was seizures. Unfortunately, like all of these awful symptoms I suffered at one time. So, oh my gosh, I wake up, I have this horrible, I literally had to wake up, I have amnesia for like about a month and a half in my life. And I start to learn of this disease I have. And per the AE Alliance, the group that I closely work with in the U.S., about 1 in 100,000 people will be diagnosed with it in the U.S. But I have heard many neurologists refer to it as a 1 in a million. 78% of people across the world don't even know what encephalitis is, per the Encephalitis Society out of the UK. So you wake up, you find out you're a rarity, you have no group, you have no people, you're by yourself, your brain is injured and damaged. Like, what do you do with that? You create the Brain Fever podcast.
I had an idea and you created it.
No, see, and we're going to argue. 13 years of marriage, and we're going to be arguing on this stage.
Basically what the podcast is all about, us arguing.
I'm going to let him take this slide.
All right, so I wanted to do a podcast with Jackie because when she had autoimmune encephalitis, I had no information. I didn't know what it was. I just wanted to hear like real people going through it. I mean, you can read science journals and everything else, and I thought it'd be good to have her tell stories, me tell stories, because as a person watching someone you love go through this, you just kind of want to know. So we wanted to get like an audience. I didn't have any idea. Like I've done a couple of podcasts, some small, some big. So I thought we'd give it a shot. It's free, it's easy, and when I say anyone can do it, anyone can do it. What I laughed about is during the pandemic, all these people started podcasts, so it's like overloaded right now, but it's kind of tailing off. Anyone can do a podcast, but these movie stars that would tell you anyone can do it, they rent like the $20,000 studio and do it. But in all honesty, it's very easy. Most of it's free. If you want to keep some stuff, you might have to pay just a smidgen amount of money. But honestly, if you have a computer, $60 to $150, and the podcast equipment, it's like just simple. So,
spoiler alert, we don't have a $20,000 studio.
No.
Sean has a basement office, and in the last podcast, he blinked twice to say that he needed food and water, that I kept him down there.
She keeps me in the basement, and it's not fun.
So before I advance, I'm going to back it up a teeny bit. This really was his brainchild. So I started just writing, which actually started on CaringBridge. Sean and my family were writing it for me when I was hospitalized and could not write or probably read. I couldn't. So they started this CaringBridge, and then slowly I started typing on it just to let the world know I was okay, because I just was gone one day and no one knew what was going on, and all of a sudden it's kind of out on Facebook and all this is taking hold, and she's been hospitalized, she's having seizures, you can't talk to her. That was pretty intense for friends and family, and everybody just wanted to know I was okay. So many months later, I finally got onto CaringBridge and kind of said, I think I'm okay now. Not really, but okay. So it started with my writing, and I just grew to really love writing. So then I started my blog, and I had been working on a book. When I woke up and understood Brain on Fire, that community announcement, that book was out there, true to my stubborn, intense nature, I said, well, I'm going to write a book then too, because I'd ever done that. I had no idea what I was doing. So I start writing this book with a brain injury, and I want to give speeches, and then COVID hit, all this. But right before COVID, Sean's like, let's do a podcast. And I'm like, no. I was that adamant. I'm like, absolutely not. I had never listened to a podcast. You can ask him. You can probably ask Lacey. I'm not lying, folks. It was literally 2020, and I was like, I don't do those. Because what you have to understand about me is I was the most boring lawyer ever, and I just sat and did lawyer things. Podcasts were for super fun, cool people. Probably, you're all...
She went to her rotary phone, called some friends.
He's not really kidding. And so I think like the first podcast I listened to was probably somewhere during the lockdown. So I was like, nope, that's not what I do. And he's like, yes, you're going to. So he sat me down. Oh, wait, okay. I'm ahead of myself. So this is why wouldn't you create a podcast? Well, let me tell you, we were kind of diverse personalities in the first episode. Go ahead, say it.
It was rough. It was living hell. I'm kind of I mean, you can ask Kate. I'm kind of goofy. I rarely take things serious. Miss Lawyer over here, who's got to critically think about everything, we just weren't a very good pair, and it was 45 minutes of just awkwardness
Awful.
and like weirdness, and I was really like, this is not fun.
He buried his hard drive after that,
Yeah.
I'm not lying. So
I
that
actually got a new computer and burned the old one, so there's no evidence of the first podcast.
we just had to figure out, and we realized we were kind of coming at different angles. I was in the midst of writing the book, so I was like, on May 7th, 2018, this happened. And Sean was just like, oh, I was just asking you how you are this morning. So once we got our flow, he was like, 5 episodes, just do 5. Let's do it leading up to World Encephalitis Day. And we said, okay, we'll do 1 every day of the week. I think we missed the last one because, lo and behold, I was pregnant with a magic baby at the time. Can't even make all this up. And I think maybe the 5th one came a teeny bit later. But this is what we decided. We had a little journal. We're like, okay, what would be, let's get it out there. The onset. I hospitalized myself in the psychiatric ward. The severe psychosis does present, and you don't know what's going on. And I thought that was the place I needed to be at, and I was misdiagnosed there until it was realized that it was a neurological disorder I had. We talked about recovery. Some people asked me questions, and then I interviewed Sean, which was really a heartfelt one. The trauma that we have both suffered is real, and that's what we talk about on the old podcast. So then all of a sudden we're like, oh my gosh, we had 1,500 downloads and we had a worldwide audience. It was just nuts. We thought we were doing 5. He was making me. It was going to be fun. And so we kind of kept it going. We have had some really awesome guests. Dr. Ava Easton is the CEO of the Encephalitis Society. She's kind of the world's leader on encephalitis. Dr. Helen Ager is a world-renowned psychiatrist. Her son had AE. Maria Burns-Ortiz is Ronda Rousey's sister, and they spent some time in North Dakota. She co-authored that book. She's so cool. Dr. Weinstein, one of my old professors, and more. We've just had wonderful guests. Go ahead, Sean.
And since podcasting is so easy, we'll get that later. I mean, these are all the formats. Buzzsprout, you always need a host, so we are hosted on Buzzsprout, and they make it so easy. You just click a button to put it on all of these, mediums, Apple, Amazon, which is same as Alexa. Just tell Alexa, I tested it one day, just, Alexa, play Brain Fever, and she did, so it was really good. I'm still working on play me Sean, and then just have me come up, but we're working on that. So we have all these, of course, my wife's website, which, once again, Buzzsprout leads to, they have a perfect link for your website to put on there, so it's nice and tidy on your website.
When people ask, where are you? I'm like, I think we're pretty easy to find. Of course, when he taught me to use my rotary phone, he just showed me how to download on Apple, so that's
Things were tough the past couple of years. Getting her updated.
And that has nothing to do with my brain illness, I was using rotary
We just
phones.
got her an Apple phone. We put the bag phone away. She was walking around with the bag phone.
I still have a BlackBerry, and I wish I could use it. So, oh my gosh, all of a sudden, this is fairly recent. I think after Mandy B. Anderson was one of our last guests on to share her wonderful story. We went over 3,000 downloads. We were so excited. So 6 continents, 33 countries, 514 cities. The top downloading, whoop whoop, Bismarck. Grand Forks, the university uses us a lot for classes. Mountain View, California, we have no idea. They show up a lot. Wowzers. Council Bluffs, Iowa, not totally sure. Minneapolis, we have an awesome showing there. Maybe it's something to do with Rochester. And the top performing episode is still the first one. And what I love about this now, I get contacted a lot now via social media in different places and people who are just as devastated and in shambles as we were. and they say, I don't know, and I don't know about recovery and this and that. The wonderful thing is I can say, I have a podcast episode on that with Dr. Ava, and, you can hear about my onset, or you can read. So it's just been a wonderful way to share information. And this is where you need the man himself, because I don't know anything. If you want to use this for your business, you will need to ask him, because the most dangerous place in Bismarck is between me and a microphone, and that's all I know.
I know it. Yeah, and I actually encourage you, if you have a business or you work for, a bank, a financial institution, just anything, podcasting is so easy. You could be as simple as do it over your phone and have it there, like no music, no nothing, but really, if you have a laptop, I'm still using one of my first podcast systems. It's got a little control board, 2 microphones, and a USB that hooks up to your computer, $60. And I've had it since 2011, I think, 2012. Like I said, Buzzsprout, it's free, but then after a while, if you get too many podcasts, they delete them, so you might have to pay $5. But it's a great way to get your word out there. It might take a while to get going, but if you use the right keywords and the right hashtags, you never know where it'll take you. I never thought that we'd be worldwide. I was just thinking the other day, Del Vetter, I love his videos when he's inspecting a house, all these little things that people want to hide, and he finds them. He could do a great podcast on things to do before selling your home. The Downtowners, of course, that would be a good one. Maybe you did. Did you have one for a while? You still have one? See, I'm kind of like Jackie. I'm not aware of my outside world right now, so yeah.
We've lived in COVID for a long time.
Yeah.
It's been Groundhog's Day for a while at the house of a woman with a wonky immune system.
Day 348, the bread was dry.
So Sean puts me on Zoom. I get a microphone. The other day I interviewed a psychiatrist out of the University of Cincinnati. It was super fun. And then, there's a magic podcast variant. It all goes up. So this is one of the pictures we took of the 3 of us. You will note Elton John in the background. So
Keep that
awesome.
picture.
And Sean put together a little clip for your listening enjoyment. That didn't work, so I'm going to go back. In the meantime, I could burst into song.
No.
Any requests?
No. No dancing either.
Welcome to the Brain Fever Podcast. This is a story of Jackie Stebbins, who is a lawyer, a mother, a wife, and an autoimmune encephalitis survivor. She wishes to tell her story about her fight with autoimmune encephalitis and her recovery. Now, here are your hosts, Jackie Stebbins, and me, her husband, Sean Erithson.
Has her own podcast, She Who Overcomes. And I think in 2020, Prairie Business Magazine honored her with being one of the top 25 women in business in our area. So, ladies and gentlemen, here she is in the flesh, Mandy B. Anderson. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Jackie. I have to laugh because I have never had somebody say I have like an awesome fashion sense. I think I've had other compliments, but I put a lot of thought into the shoes I was wearing for TEDx, and so thank you. I feel like I accomplished that.
You were seen, woman.
When I'm fixing mine.
To you, this is our very first podcast. To Jackie and I, this is our second podcast, and hopefully it is downloaded and being played on iTunes. But we had a very rough go with the first podcast.
Very rough.
Very rough. And I have been together with my wife for about 17 years, married 11. And we have a lot of things in common. We mesh really well, but we found out that podcasting together
was like the worst decision
was
we had
probably
ever
hell.
made.
It was
Ever.
awful. It was awful. It could probably lead to many fights. And we don't even fight that much.
We don't usually, but he started throwing around the D word yesterday, divorce, which is not cool because I was a divorce lawyer for 10 years.
And yeah, that's why we get along together. Do you think I'd really get you angry?
Exactly. You don't threaten divorce lawyers with divorce, but
Yes, but since you told me that this was going to be a 20-minute podcast and this will give you the shivers, we are almost to about 60 minutes, so I'm just going to steal the 60 minutes ticking to end the podcast. Yes.
That gives me anxiety.
I
No,
know it
do
does,
not.
but it only makes sense.
Beer barrel polka. Fine. Deal. Done.
Okay, at least I got a little bit of what I wanted in there. No funny questions, but at least we got the polka music.
Thank you for listening to this unimpressive clip of the Brain Fever podcast. Have an absolute wonderful day.
Pull out the barrel. We'll have a barrel of fun.
Wow. So, welcome to our podcast. We fight about divorce. Elton John.
It's not
is
always about
pictured.
fighting. There's some very good stuff. But if you want to hear a good squabble, I'd suggest you tune in.
The last one he had to edit, I kept answering in song, so everything was, "Ah," and he played it back to me, and it was like Ace Ventura, just constantly. He's like, "What is wrong with you?" I'm like, "I don't know. I felt like answering in song."
Guess what the noise is when she texts me now?
So that is a part of JM Stebbins and what we do. I love that podcast. I'm so proud of it. I'm so thankful to my husband. Feel free to find me or contact me. I've been trying to get some new guests, and I tell people it does not have to be about AE proper. We can talk about some fun things too. If you can deal with me and my song, please let me know. Thank you so much.
Oh, good, there's an ashtray for us. Oh, there we go. Sean.
Anybody got a light?
Yeah. Mandy's going to be our mic runner, so if you have a question for Sean or Jackie, just raise your hand, and she will bring you the Gigantosaurus orange mug. Probably the first question we ask, and we've had a few husband and wife entrepreneur teams come up. How does it blend into your? I mean, I'm kind of guessing just from watching all of that and knowing Sean.
I don't recommend it.
Okay. Sorry, Janya and Evan, you're going to have to break up the band. But does it bleed into your day-to-day life? You're making dinner and then you talk about the podcast, or are there solid boundaries that you guys have set on that?
I mean, I don't know. I think we basically do all right. She brings up ideas and throw it around, and usually a child yells, and then we put it on hold and get them to bed and finish it. But yeah, I mean, throughout other days, something comes up and we discuss it, and yeah, it's actually quite. It works out better than my job because I don't have, thank God, my coworkers living with me. But when I do need to get a hold of her, she's right there, so it works out fine.
So Sean hasn't gotten a break from me since I left work on May 8th, 2018. There I go with my dates again, but he really hasn't. And he fought for me to make sure that my life was saved, and he was with me every step of the way in recovery, which has been very long. I'm only about 4 years away, and I really say only, and I mean that. It's really been a long haul. And so Sean has been so supportive. It's not just the podcast, it's everything I do. And unfortunately for him, he's trying to work because people need to provide health insurance. Like, that's a real thing. And I'm always hollering downstairs, Sean, and telling him, I'm just doing my best to rebuild my life and get on track. And so honestly, it has been so much fun. And so we owned a law firm prior to this. I was a senior partner at the Stebbins law firm. And I think the stories I came home and shared with him were just, they weren't fun. They weren't happy. It was, this dollars and my hours. And I was just always so stressed and intense. So that I think was harder, on the relationship. This has all just actually been really, really fun.
So maybe Sean, just living with him, contributed to weakening your immune system so you could get a new job and
my plan.
Happy. Okay. Kayla.
Okay, sorry. So there's like kind of the genre of sick lit, and it's usually like YA, and it's always about this like poor sad girl who gets sick, but she falls into the background, and it's her suffering is a lesson for other characters, and so it's terrible. But how does your podcast help you kind of see yourself as the main character in your own story and kind of get rid of that awful trope?
That's an awesome question, Kayla. So actually, we kind of covered this the other day with the psychiatrist that I was able to land an interview. And I said, I get asked a lot, or people will say, but Jackie, you had like a really bad case of AE. And I kind of laughed. I'm like, I think they're all bad cases of AE. But, you know, he went into this, of course, like really deep medical, you know, that's just a way to get away from trauma, to kind of say, oh, everybody has problems. And so there's two Jackies. There's the Jackie right now that said, no tears today. This is about the podcast. And I think I can focus and separate. And I know he's doing the same. And then there's the Jackie that like Lacey has seen for many years now, Becky has seen, maybe a few others. The Jackie where this story is still like, it's alive and well. And when I can put up that wall and it's not me, it's a lady that had seizures and psychosis and found herself, you know, we had billed like $1 million at our law firm. Like life was unreal. And all of a sudden I'm checking myself into the psychiatric ward pretty quickly. When I'm reminded that that was me, and that law firm that I love no longer exists, and then my job is gone, and like my dream of being a lawyer since 5th grade, like when that hits home and it's me, that's hard. And so I think I'm always trying to do that balance of I want to be as honest and authentic as I can, because I think that's what people really, you know, want and appreciate. And I want to be able to empathize with people and say I've been there. But in the next breath, some days I just need to say, look, I got to put up a wall, and I'm just here to be the host of the podcast and interview this wonderful psychiatrist. Or when I interviewed Maria Burns Ortiz, it was mostly about like writing and writing her sister Rhonda's memoir. So it honestly, I've gotten a lot better with time. Before, I never could have done this like years ago. I'd have just bawled and said, there's no way I can do this. So we've gotten better with time, and some days the mood hits us and it's harder, but I think we're getting to where we can tell the story and share it to help others, and maybe not have, you know, we can have those life lessons where they don't just like tear my heart out.
So you've developed multiple personalities now. Eris is- okay.
Yes, you can call my psychiatrist. No.
Mandy.
All the tech people, what kind of microphone do you use for podcasting?
What I found out is not a karaoke microphone, because that tends to echo. Basically, a basic multi-directional microphone. I have a lot of problems with my p and my s. So you want to get the little microphone sock, and I also have the screen because I get a little spitty, but it's basically, you can find a decent one for $15, $25, and honestly, the same microphone I've had since 2011 has worked. Nothing has failed me. One of the cords is starting to fray, and I'm having a hard time finding a replacement, but other than that, it's you know, decent stuff, just $15, $25 microphone.
There's like condenser mics, and then there's blah, blah,
Yep.
blah. I mean, I would just Google
you
it too.
get a basic one, and usually when you're doing a podcast, like when you type in podcasting microphone, you know, you don't need to get into what, if you type that in, it's usually very decent, very good sounding. My recording was a little loud, and that was my fault, but otherwise, it's just everything about it is so simple. The editing format that I have for it was 99 cents. What's it called again? That I edit the. My mind is blanking, but it's.
This old married couple, look at that. What's that again?
What is
Oh,
it?
I don't know.
Who is that in 72?
Linda.
Linda?
She's dead.
Yeah, I love how he looked at me. You could have asked me like, what's on the grocery
Well, I've
list.
said it the past couple of days, and now these lights, and then Brian Ritter sitting right there. It's just.
Yes.
By the way, he loves it if you give him a hug and a kiss on the cheek.
Aww.
But ask first. Hashtag me too. Hands to yourself.
I used my Beats headphones microphone. I got those because Apple ones have never fit in my ears. I don't know. I have lopsided ears. So I just used my mic and headphones a lot at the beginning because I think he was afraid to put a legit microphone in front of me.
Well, he wanted to see if it was worth the investment. Okay. Evan.
Okay. You've taken this opportunity. You're helping some people now. You're by sharing some information and finding some people to interview. And kind of curious about, where does this lead? We had some dear friends 25 years ago, pregnant with twins that they were diagnosed with a very rare twin-to-twin transfusion syndrome or something like that. Drove them to the airport so they could get some procedure done in Florida, and their twins survived, and they came home and started a foundation that exists today. board of directors, and I don't even know if they're involved anymore. But so it just kind of makes me curious. Where is this leading for you?
That's an awesome question. So the other day, I had a health coach through a cohort through the Autoimmune Encephalitis Alliance, a program they're trying to launch, and she's a really neat lady. And we talked about, kind of the end of my year and the beginning of 2022 and what I want. And I said, I have been away from my book. It was September 17th. I sent it to the first publisher and literally just washed my hands. Like, I'm done now. I've worked on this memoir for like 3.5 years. It's prolonged exposure to trauma. It was very hard to do. And I said, I have had the happiest 3 months being away from that book. That was kind of the real AE proper in my life was still in that book, because the podcast we've ventured in my blog. I don't just always write about AE. Like, I've written about alarm clocks and weird shoes. I mean, you can always tell the underlying is grief and loss and such. But so I'd kind of been getting away from it, and I said, I think I'm happier being away from this. And am I at that point now maybe where this was to bridge the gap to help me through all the devastation and loss and give me some new purpose and give me back my confidence and independence? And then I told her, it's like, well, I've written my TED Talk. I've been booked to speak. I'm trying to work on the book, and I have this new blog. She's like, Jackie, everything you're doing is still involving AE. And I was like, oh, I know. So there's this part of me, Evan, that still just wants to run from it and be done and say I did everything I could. My story's out there. Like, I am done. I'm building the wall. But then there's a part of me that's like, this disease and what it did to me will always be a part of me. I can't run. Sean can't either. So I think I'm still
Got bad knees too.
Yeah, it's that whole football incident.
We won't talk.
Those old injuries. So I don't know. What I can say now is trial lawyers, and I'm looking at a friend here she's a lawyer too. We are just so tightly wound, and we are so type A, and we are so driven, and that's wonderful. It gets you to where you want to go, but it can be a very double-edged sword, and it was for me. So in my new life, I am trying to just say, okay, God, like, what do you want? I'm listening. I don't control everything. I just want to be along for the ride. I want to do good things. I don't want the stress that I had. My old life was very stressful, and if you poll my friends, they will say the reason I got this disease is because I was a lawyer and working the way I was. Now, my doctors at Mayo will tell you different, but that's something I kind of have to live with too, that pushing myself so hard probably was not healthy. And so in this new life, I'm trying so hard to say, let's see. Because I would have never guessed that we would have 6 continents listening to me yap about, the last question is always about Elton John and in this rare brain illness. I would not have guessed that I would have a worldwide following on my blog. So I think I'm okay with that. I don't know. And I recognize if you're in a business, which I was, there's dollars, there's cents, there's balance sheets, there's marketing, and we did all that. I run a very strange business now. I call it a, not-for-profit business. And by the grace of God, that's what I can do. That's my work right now. So I know that's odd, but for me, it's working, and the world's ahead, and I'm going to see what's waiting, and if there's ways to maybe market it or capitalize someday, cool. If not, that's okay too.
That was nice, Jackie. I saw you trying on not plan for a second. You're talking to yourself like, I'm not going to plan anything. I'm not going to plan
just plan this, but I'm planning on how I won't plan it. Yeah,
Yep.
Old habits die hard, I can tell you that.
Ton.
Obviously, you're parents. You are parents. You have some kids. I'm guessing I know which is the boss parent and which isn't. But anyway, how have you been able to support other parents that are going through this trauma or some type of insane trauma that you guys have? Has this been something that's been brought up in questions when you have speakers on your podcasts, etc.?
I'll answer a little and then I'll let you. So when Dr. Helen Ager presented, this woman is an absolute world-renowned psychiatrist, but when she talked about her son's AE and it was debilitating, Sasha he doctored and treated for 10, 12 years before he could finally and I mean, she was the head of Duke's psychiatry program. They were so well connected, but it was so unknown and it was such a challenge. And, it just upended his life. And I think he was like 11. So when I first found out kids could get AE, that almost stopped me. I was like, God, no, like you can't do this to kids, but it can happen. So I think it's kind of one of these, I like to be out there. I like to talk about it. Sean doesn't as much, but I make him a little because I can't help it. I make him do things a lot.
Get down there and make a podcast.
You go to your office and like it. Sean's perspective is so unreal. And when I wrote my memoir, like the biggest part of the memoir was recreated through Sean, my mom, those two for sure, Lacey a little bit, Ashley a little bit. You know, they had to recreate so much of this. Sean is not dying to recreate this. So I love to have him be able to look at other people and say, you know, as a caregiver, like this is what it's like. I think his advice is so awesome. But he's not dying to always talk about it, and I respect that.
Question back here.
And not to kind of switch the focus again, because I love what you're talking about, but I was actually going to talk to you about the podcast part of it and around here, and it kind of just spoke to me because I'm actually working on a project to create a membership-based creative space for workspace and studio space. And my sister and brother-in-law work for a recording school in Arizona and said that podcast studios, your $20,000 studio, is a huge thing that people are looking for nationwide. Do you know, is that something that people are looking for here?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people want like the really professional, to get like a studio. But to tell you the truth, our podcast, if I'm on my game, sounds just as good as a studio. And it doesn't cost that much. It's a computer, the Audacity, which is the editing program, 99 cents on Amazon, 2 good microphones, a control board to, control it, make sure you're in a nice carpeted room. If you have some carpet samples, throw them up on the wall. It prevents echoing. But otherwise, I had a comment about a year ago on one of our podcasts, and it's like, it sounds really good. Do you what's the name of the recording studio downtown here?
Marcochi.
Yes. Someone asked if we went there, and I'm like, well, that's quite the compliment, because no, we don't rent that out. And it's so simple to just sound good. And if any of you are interested in doing this, like, thank goodness you've got some connections on how to do this. But if you want to get together, we can make sure you get the stuff and have a great sounding computer or podcast off your computer, and we can do it.
I would also just mention Dakota Media Access, which is the local, government/community channel. You can do podcasts there. You can actually go into their studio and use the space as long as they're able to use the content afterwards. Light on the swearing and no product placement. But that's what we do. We also use something called StreamYard to do some of our video stuff. But Dakota Media is a great resource if you're looking too.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Okay. Question, you had, you talked about the University of North Dakota and they're using it in classes. How are they using your podcast in education?
I love that. That's one of my favorite parts of the podcast. One of my friends is a nursing instructor at UND, and when everybody did the hard pivot during the pandemic, they were looking for content. So she started using our podcast. But that's where I really want the AE awareness to go. Places like nursing, social work, law enforcement, for sure, med school, psychiatry. And I've just been kind of talking with the med school at UND that the pandemic and its effects are still kind of lingering, but those are the people that need to understand how this disease presents itself, because it does. It mimics serious psychiatric disorders, and 75 to 80% of people will see a psychiatrist before a neurologist. And the good news is, if you make the correct diagnosis and do it in a quick fashion, hopefully, and I'm a miracle of this disease, and I admit it, hopefully you can have this great comeback. A lot of people don't. If you miss the diagnosis, it can be deadly. It's heartbreaking and devastating. People will suffer permanent brain damage and just really awful things. So when we found out that we were at the nursing school, and that is, maybe to go back to Evan's question, one of my next goals, as soon as maybe COVID can lift a little more and now I'm vaccinated. Like last year, of course, I wasn't, didn't really go anywhere. I want to get out with more universities and be speaking. But I think the podcast is just such a great way. It's easy, it's free. People can get a feel for you. pretty quick, and you can share a ton of information really easily and quickly. And that's the mission, that no one is misdiagnosed with AE and that no one suffers alone. I think those were our two goals, and I really hope that we're meeting those.
Awesome. Yeah, it's scary, and like you were seeing things, and you were, just things that. And Sean is kind of goofy, but I mean, there's only so many things. I probably wasn't Sean, riding a horse through the house or something.
No, that was.
Yeah. Okay. But scary stuff, and we've talked about it here a lot. Entrepreneurs, what makes you take the jump? Leave your job or whatever. In your case, you're kind of forced to do it, but as we said, you're making brain lemonade from your brain lemons.
I loved that. That was great. Yeah, I was kind of kicked off a cliff on a Tuesday.
Yeah. So sometimes entrepreneurship, well, in a different way, you had your own business too, but it finds you and forces you to capitulate. Okay. We are going to go to the last question for the folks that are new here. We always ask the same last question. Let me just advance this bad boy, potentially. Well, it's up there somewhere. So, Mandy, you're going to have to do it from memory.
All right. Well, thank you so much for presenting. It was great to meet you, Sean. Like, I actually have to meet you face to face.
Yes.
I can say anybody who is a guest on this podcast, it's a great time. We had such a great conversation. Probably one of my favorite interviews ever. It probably had nothing to do with Elton John and Celine Dion. Or it also did.
A lot.
But anyway, we want to know at 1 Million Cups, what is the best way that we can help you succeed with this endeavor?
Just awareness and spreading the word. I put up all my social media at that end slide. So if you follow JM Stebbins and share it or tell your friends, it's spreading the AE awareness. And it's also just sharing that, hey, there's a couple in our local community putting on this podcast. And then if they have questions, they can go to Sean. So I think it's always just about sharing over a cup of coffee, something that simple, and saying, hey, I heard Jackie, and she's a little strange, but I really liked her husband.
Usually it's the other way around.
Yeah.
Sean's a little strange, but Jackie's all right.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys so much. Give it up for Sean and Jackie. Just stay there. Don't leave. We've got a lot of stuff coming up here with 1 Million Cups in the next few weeks. So we've got Janelle. I think I saw her. There she is. She's going to be here talking about things that smell good, right? Okay, yeah. Things that smell good, look good. I'm going to be hosting a panel here called, we're going to talk about Handshake and a way to place students with employers in the community here. We'll hear from BSC and the University of Mary how they're using that tool. And then we're going to talk about the new Theodore Roosevelt Presidential Library. So you guys get all the skinny details on that. So come back if you are interested. Hey, maybe you started a podcast. Maybe your wife got sick and then you tried to find a way to, find another career out of that, Sean. But you can apply to present here. Just go to 1millioncups.com/bizman, and then you can click present. And that application comes to us and the organizers team, and we can get you up on the stage. So we will see you next week. Have a great rest of your day. Stay warm.